it's not a far walk.
In the world of clicks and views, we got the tricks, ain't got time to lose. Christina and Joe dropping knowledge non-stop for all you realtors. Climbing to the top. Grab your camera, let's make the tape. Content gold, no time to waste. From open house to renovation glory, YouTube secrets unfold your story. Build those leads with every post. Christina and Joe, the ultimate hosts. Market trends and virtual tours. Turn those watchers into door knocking scores. Lights, camera, action, go live. Tips and tricks to help you thrive. Thumbnail magic, title spice. A clickbait charm, but a touch of nice. SEO game on point and tight. Comments buzz.
Hi, Diane. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad everybody's here. We got Diana here, and we're going to have her little partner here as well. We're going to be talking about knowing your audience. And Diana and her friend Dion they are a team. They're going to be doing great on YouTube. I'm really excited for these two. And they have learned so much. And, I've been doing YouTube for years. So I kind of think, oh, everybody knows what I know. And then I realize that when you have fresh eyes and fresh face, then you don't realize it. So your eyes are wide open. And you've been learning a lot about YouTube. And I think that the biggest thing that everybody needs to understand is their audience. And I wanted to talk to you ladies because you have the fresh eyes and new experience to all of this, and ask you personally, before your friend comes on, what is it that you have learned about an audience on YouTube, and how do you think that's going to really help you in the future, especially with getting more commissions? Can you hear me?
I think that the biggest thing that we've learned. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, you have a delay.
Okay.
That's all.
There's Dion.
Yep.
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I think the biggest thing that we have learned, and I don't know how to do the camera,
there you go,
is that we didn't know our audience. Like you telling us that we have to have our avatar, I think is one of the biggest things. We started our channel and we did everything wrong, Christina. So learning how to identify our audience and then to figure out what they're looking for and to figure out how to speak to them. It's a process.
Right. So what is it that you were doing wrong though?
We never even heard that word avatar.
Oh.
Everything.
Everything. When she says everything, she means everything.
Like
Yeah,
what did everything. What did you think was like the biggest eye opener though for you as far as that? Like what was like, oh, we were doing this all wrong?
Well, I would have to say, I think
so when we started our YouTube channel.
Oops. She has a delay, so she's not knowing that we have a
okay. So I think what happened was when we had our first official coaching call with you and Joe, and we thought that we were just going to get this 1 hour long coaching call and we were just going to run with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our eyes were so open during that call because we're like, oh my God, we have no idea what we're doing. Because I don't know, because, I jumped in a little bit late, but when, we first started our YouTube channel, we had a guy and he runs a really successful channel, and he's a family friend, and he met Diana and I, and he's like, you guys need to do, a podcast. You guys are great together. You guys have so much information. And we're like, all right, let's do it. Right. So that's how we started. We didn't know anything about, we didn't really know anything about YouTube. We didn't know we didn't know about the algorithm. We didn't know about, what do they call it? Like that background environment. We didn't know any of that stuff. All I know is that, we feel like we have a lot of information and we want to share it because there's, some not so great realtors out there, and we hear horror stories from clients, past customers. So anyways, that's why we wanted to do it. But taking, that 1 hour call with you guys, we're like, oh my God, we have so much to learn. we have no idea what we're doing.
That and you know what, that's like one of the keys to success when it comes to um, getting your commissions to start coming in is knowing who you're actually making content for. Because I know us as real estate agents, we all
Right.
look at it and we're like, we want buyers, we want sellers, we want people that, you know, are buying luxury listings. We don't care if they're on the water, we don't care if they're over 55. And of course, you feel that way. But when you on YouTube, you really need to focus in on one specific group of people, a specific age of that person. So that way you're talking to lots of people like that. And if that doesn't mean that you're narrowing it down so much that other people in other areas won't work with you. All it means is that you're an expert in that field. There's a YouTuber that all he talks about is land. That's all he talks about. Buying land, what do you do with land? You know, and he has made a whole entire channel about purchasing land. And you don't think he has other people reaching out to him that want to buy a house? Maybe not with land, you know, like, come on. Of course they are. They just know that he's really knowledgeable in this and they like him and then they continue to watch him. It all connects together. You're not limiting yourself by niching down. That's for sure.
Right. And I think we learned that too, you know, just by watching some of your videos, because, you know, we're both in kind of a new market, but it's not really a new market because we've been selling here, but we actually live over here now. And so we were thinking, okay, well, we want to do this, right? After our coaching calls, after meeting with you guys, we're like, okay, wait a second. There's a much bigger picture here, right?
Right.
We can be reaching so many more people if we focus, right? So,
Mhm.
so like we thought we had our avatar down, right? We thought for sure we knew exactly who it was. But then we have one call with you and we're like, okay, wait a second. That is not it. We have to be this or this.
Right.
Otherwise, you know, YouTube's not going to know where to send our stuff. So it's going to get totally confused. So we had to regroup again. So
Yep.
now we have it nailed down.
Yep. I've been doing a little bit of private coaching with you too. And today you showed me some thumbnails. Now I have to say, and I didn't tell you this because I want to share here. I was really impressed that you guys have learned so quickly about thumbnails. That's a difficult thing to grasp really quickly.
Holy cow.
So you guys had
A
small
long
tweaks.
time.
Yeah, it did take a long time, but for some people, I mean, they've been doing this for years and they still don't have it down. You took the advice in the thumbnail part of that course and you implemented it pretty quickly. Did you hit it right out of the park right away? No, but your idea and ideation and how you came up with that, studying your avatar, understanding your niche was very smart. Very smart. Even down to like what color of the clouds that you picked, because it gave a sense of what the video was going to be about. You didn't do like white puffy blue skies and pretty clouds. You made it dark and you made it dreary and you made this. I mean, it was very smart. The thumbnail needed some tweaks. There's no doubt about it. But the ideation from pulling from what you understood about your avatar was very, very smart. So congratulations on that. So what else have you guys? Good job, Diana.
So team ever. It was, come on, it's a team ever.
So what else have you learned about thumbnails? Uh-oh, they're saying there's no sound. Are you guys hearing sound? Huh.
I hear sound.
I hear sound. Let me look on the old YouTubes. So while I'm looking on YouTubes, you guys tell me, have you heard what else have you learned about thumbnails along the way?
I think one of the biggest problems for me was the negativity. I think we talked about that. And really speaking to, like, just because the thumbnail is negative doesn't mean the whole video has to be negative. Like, I have a really hard time putting negative energy into the universe. So when you're telling us, you know, or even when we're just looking, and then when we brought that up to you, you were like, it used to be sunshine and rainbows. And I was like, well, let's bring that back. But getting people to actually click. And when you look at different thumbnails, what makes people click, the colors, like there's so much to it.
Right.
Like, the figures you use, how big we have to be.
The
You know,
And
font
that
we
changes
use.
too. Everything
That
changes
changes.
over time.
Right. I mean, the devil is definitely in the details.
Right. And it's by following the patterns of what's happening on YouTube.
Right.
And I don't know, did you guys ever go down that rabbit hole with like a lot of real estate agents do, where they download all these like SEO tracker things because they thought that's what was going to make their videos blow up? Did you guys do that?
Nope.
No.
Oh, be blessed. Be blessed.
That sounds, yeah.
No,
I
we
mean,
didn't
we're
like. I'm
getting a
saying we
little,
didn't know
but-
enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
we
we didn't. Go ahead. Sorry.
we did
That-
so much. I mean, we did what, 20 videos
Yeah.
with no traction, nothing.
Right.
And then listening to yours, it was like, and the first week we were in your course,
Uh-huh.
Dion, like we didn't sleep. We were like, and fun, like it was ridiculous and aggravated, right? Like, because we were trying to do it all. Like, we're like, we want to catch up. We both are kind of, overachievers in that. And so we were like, oh my gosh, we have to make sure we know how to do this. And now, and then we had to take a step back and say, wait, this is going to be a longer process. And we want it now, but we're doing the work. But we're also like sleeping a little more and working out and doing stuff that we, that we need to do, because it does take.
It was seriously all consuming for like 3 weeks. I mean, it was like, okay, we have clients. What do you mean we have to go show houses? We have to work on YouTube. We have to, I mean, I'd listened to Daryl's podcast like in my car. It took me like less than a week. And I just made sure that was the only thing that I listened to in my car. And you're in there, which is super cool.
Well, yeah, I'm in that book.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm
you
in that
are.
book.
But
That
was
is
one of the
correct.
things you guys told us to do. But going back to the thing about thumbnails is, now when I'm scrolling and I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I can look at that and go, oh God, that's terrible. Oh God, no, why did he do that? That thing's totally lopsided. Learning, that, the threes, you got to, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
we didn't know any of that stuff. And now when I go back and I look at our thumbnails, I think they're pretty funny.
Yeah, you're
Oh
talking
my
about the rule of
God.
thirds.
Yeah.
The
that's
rule
what
of
I meant.
thirds on a thumbnail. And
Yeah.
people still don't get that. Nothing kills me more. I'm going to show you exactly when people do this. Right. So here, like this square, this rectangle is the thumbnail, and then they're all the way over here. And then you only see this littlest version of them. You can barely see their face, and then there's all this image. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is that if you make, and this goes for everybody, if you make really good content that's super interesting, your thumbnails end up being, no matter how bad they are, end up being something that people recognize because they're bad. So if you guys look at if you go look at Reinventured Consulting, when he first started, I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
they were the worst thumbnails I have ever seen. But the thing is that people wanted to hear what he had to say, because he said everything about the housing market crashed, and everybody wanted that to happen during the pandemic. They wanted see those prices come down, and he was predicting that like all these housing markets were going to collapse, because that's something that people wanted to hear. It didn't matter anymore about his thumbnail, because he became known for his content itself, right? And everything he was saying sounded very smart to people, even though he was misinterpreting data. To a large mass of people, they liked what he had to say.
Would that be
So-
fake news?
Yeah, totally fake news. But the thing is that because his thumbnails were so bad, they were so easily recognizable in people's news feeds that, after that, people started copying his bad thumbnail. It broke all the rules that we think in our brain of what a good thumbnail is. A good thumbnail comes down to this: you may not like it. It's what people click on.
Right.
And there are some basics to keep in your brain, like the rule of thirds, like you said, following that with a thumbnail, that still applies. But what it all comes down to is, no matter how ugly it is, if people are clicking on it, there's something to be studied on it. Like,
Right.
why?
And Diana she's like, we'll be, going through our recon, and she would say, I would never click on that thumbnail. And it's
Mhm.
like what you're saying, Christina, it doesn't matter what you think. It's
Mhm.
what your avatar thinks. It's what other people are clicking on. So that, we have to get ourselves out of the way too, and just, do what you're teaching us.
Yep.
Follow the
Yep.
steps.
Follow the steps. Now let's talk about titles, because that's an important part of video creation. So if you don't know, before I even make a video, I always have the title and the thumbnail pretty much in line with what I'm going to do, right? I'll start with that before I ever record a video. It's very customary with every big YouTuber out there. They have those done months in advance to like they have a content calendar. Of course, those things can change as your avatar changes, but they pretty much have an outline of what they're going to make ahead of time. And the whole idea is, if you can't make a good thumbnail for the title that you want, then don't make the video, because no one's going to click on it. But your title is just as important. And what did you learn about titles since you started this?
What you're saying is we did it backwards, right? We were making our video and then creating the thumbnail last minute, and we were also going live, by the way, which was horrible. But what did we learn about titles? I mean, we
didn't even give it a second thought.
I mean, yeah, we didn't.
Right? So, the title needs to not the word. Well, like what we've learned is you don't put the same words in your thumbnail that's in the title of your video.
Right.
Right. And then that title, you better deliver on the promise of that title within like the first 14 seconds, or you're going to lose them. So that's why it's so important that that's what you're, I mean, you can tweak the content that goes in there. It's not just going to be just about that, because you add more stuff to it, because the title's just going to be super engaging. So, like the one that I clicked on at 4:30 this morning, right? It was like secrets.
Mm-hmm. And that's a word. That's a powerful word.
Yeah.
If you see that come up a lot, because like at one time everybody was using the word crash because everybody wanted to crash. And if you notice, there was a pattern when people use that word crash, there was a ton of fire. Every thumbnail, real estate thumbnail, had fire in it, because it was a pattern and it was working. And that's what was on YouTube. It isn't as common now. You don't see it as much now.
I was seeing all that when we first started, even with you.
Yeah. But it goes in stages and phases. Another thing that was really big was housing bubble. This was a couple years ago. Bubble. And so I actually even showed everybody how to make the thumbnail with the bubble. I was giving out the bubble because I'm always one of those ones that I want to show everybody how I do things. That was difficult. It's a lot easier now with the AI.
Yeah, but I think that, when you're telling us and instructing us and showing us how, we need to make those playlist buckets, and then in those playlists, right, those titles should always have like that one word that in the whole thing, right? So like if you're doing something on the market, right, somewhere in that title, it has to be short and it has to have the word market in it, right?
Right. Yeah. That and you have to have some kind of power word that draws them in, some word that really pulls it all together. Like you had secrets.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, that word crash was like the biggest one in the whole entire world. Like,
well, the other day you told us, like last week, regrets was the big thing.
Right. And then
you said, and it's going out. And I had already seen that, but then like just looking for that when we're doing our recon and seeing, I don't see regrets anywhere.
Right. It's crazy how it changes.
Right. And that's the thing, is like you have to stay on top of what is working on YouTube now. You can make all the videos that everybody else is making in your market or has made in the past. And that's fine to start your channel off on, because then it gets you into the habit and the routine of making videos for YouTube. Like you're starting to understand how long it needs to be, how you need to script, all of those things, do that. But when you start like focusing in on your audience and an audience that makes sense for you as a real estate agent, then everything else falls in line. The commissions will go up once you focus in on one thing. I know it seems counterintuitive because like all these coaching classes that we do as real estate agents goes against what YouTube wants. But if you really want to gain traction, you really need to focus on that one audience.
And you really need to have a great mentor.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no one. What do you so I know you guys used to do live streams. Are you guys going to go back to doing that?
Yeah.
You said don't do that yet until we have
Not yet.
our videos out. So we'll wait. We I think we didn't get any traction on that when we did it, but the people that we knew or that watched us, really, they had some good things to say and some good constructive criticism. And, I think that we would still be able to do lives and do well with them. But I like the idea of also making the videos and kind of getting that under our belt. So when we go live, we don't have, we have more of an audience and we're speaking to people.
Well, I think that you can definitely bring back your lives because they were entertaining. That's why I was watching those and I was like, I know that they're going to do great on YouTube. Like, I mean, you just needed some direction because you both have it,
Thank
Well,
you.
and for people listening, like we were going like all over the place. Like and you kind of laughed and said that, oh, classic beginners, right? But we were
Getting into the wall.
Yeah, we were really putting a lot of time and effort into it. But like going and doing the tours, the home tours, the city tours, the new construction, like we were all over the place, and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
Right, because you're trying to figure out what you're going to do this week. You're like, oh my God, what should we do this week? Because you had no direction. And that's another thing that a lot of real estate agents, because especially when they're starting out, they're trying to find their way through this whole entire thing. So they're like, well, I mean, I saw on his channel, he's doing home construction. He gets a lot of views on that, but I'm tired of that. I'm going to talk about HOAs this week. And oh, you know what? I'm going to do a tour of a neighborhood this week. And tomorrow I'm going to go to the burger place and show everybody in that the new burger place opened up down the road from this new neighborhood. Like everybody does that. I was guilty of it. I did it. I mean, I did it too. I have videos on my channel about soap. They opened a new bath bomb place. I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody does. Yeah. When you get on YouTube, you're making videos, you're putting them out there, but at least you're doing that. And I never fault anybody for trying, not at all.
Yeah, but it was a lot of wasted time and effort. It really
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Wasted? No way.
Okay. Maybe not wasted, but it was a lot of time and effort where if we had just started with you from the beginning, it would have been better. Like
well, I mean, but you weren't ready, right? You weren't ready for that then. And everybody has their moment in time when they are ready. So like when I was starting, I mean, there's been plenty of YouTube gurus out there way years ago, right? So years ago, there wasn't necessarily a specific real estate guru when it came to YouTube. When I first started, there wasn't anybody. And I would listen to them and I like a lot of them felt like they didn't know what they were talking about. But I would watch all of their live streams and watch all their content to try to learn how to do it. And at that time, that's when everybody was like, you have to download like keywords everywhere, and you have to download TubeBuddy, and you have to find out what the long word keywords are, and then use all the tags in those keywords and make sure they match in your description. And then you have to have an SEO friendly title to get people to click on your videos. They hardly ever talked about the thumbnail. I mean, they mentioned it, like Nick Damon was the only one that said you had to like keep doing these thumbnails. So I, thinking that I'm going to trick the algorithm, like would spend, I'm not joking, almost a whole day crafting the most perfect 350 word essay. So that way it would have all the keywords that were in the tags down below, all the sentences, the whole 9 yards, just to, get found. And I did that week after week after week after week. And when I met with Daryl Eves the first time, he's like, tell me your process. So I explained that to him. He goes, how long you been doing this? I'm like, about a year and a half. And he's like, every single week. I'm like, well, yeah, if you look. And he was like, the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing and getting the same results. I'm like, I know, but I kept going to all these live streams and I'm listening. I even took such and such's course and they said, and he was like, and he said, well, it would have worked. Your idea, like, I get what you're doing. And yes, at one time YouTube worked like this in like 2015. 2013, around there, like these are the kinds of things, little hacks, anything that there was out there. Trust me, I know it. I probably wrote the book on it, but none of that works anymore. It all comes down to one thing. If you want more sales, you want more commissions, all the one thing, understand and make an audience trust you enough that they'll watch another video. That's it. That's all it is. You got to keep them on the videos. Right. And if you can get anybody, and this, anybody could start a channel and go from 0 to 10,000 easily within a year. Easily. Yeah. And that was told to us back in 2017. When you have a real estate channel, that can't happen. It takes a really long time. You'll have to be on YouTube for like 10 years before you ever reach 10,000. Nobody watches real estate content on YouTube. That's what they used to say.
Really?
I had a coach that one of the like you real estate coaches, and they were really mad. They were like, you should be cold calling. This is what you should be doing this week. Stop wasting time on YouTube. It's not going to work out for you. And that pissed me off so much that I was like, I'm going to double down and I'm firing you.
Wow.
I fired her.
Do you say, look at me now?
Huh?
You say, look at me now?
I want to, every time I see them on because they're still on my my feed on Facebook, and every time they post something, I'm like, I want to be like, remember when you said? She probably doesn't even remember that she said it, but yeah, she probably didn't remember she said it.
Christina, I don't know if you know this, but I actually wanted to start a YouTube channel. I guess it was probably about 4 years ago. I had a client who is a pretty famous YouTuber, and he's young and has a lot of money, and I mean a lot of subscribers. He and his partner split because he moved down to Florida, and he was on a mission. He started a brand new channel and had 100,000 subscribers in 11 months.
Yep.
And he was like, Dion, you could do this. You could so do this. You have so much information about real estate. Oh my God, I'm learning so much from you. You've got it. I'm like, really? And then it was like, oh, well, then that kind of seed was planted a little bit. I didn't really know that I'd want to do it on my own. And then so Diana and I kind of got hooked up, and I wish we had gotten hooked up with you sooner, because I think that's about when I found you and I was like, wow, look at this. This could actually be done. So better late than never, I say.
Well, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I've seen many, many, many channels over the years that, like, it's hard for some people to let go of their old channel, because they're like, I put in so much work to this. I mean, there's hours and hours and hours of videos there. I don't know if I could pull the plug on this one. I want to continue to try to grow this one. But if they had just walked away from that old one and started fresh, knowing what they know now, they would gain so much more traction instantly.
Yeah. Well, Di and I, we were like, oh God, okay, well, we're just going to have to start a new channel. We're just starting a new channel, right? I mean, we don't have, what do we have? Like 60 subscribers, and I think they're all our friends and family.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, we're not attached. I think we're attached to it, but that wasn't our biggest thing. It's like, let it go. I think too, because we had put so much work into it. So we're like, okay, we know it's going to take a lot of work. And if starting it from scratch all over again is what is going to get us there faster, let's do it. So in that sense, I think we were really coachable too. We were ready because it was exhausting. And 60 people, that's like, all right, show us what we need to do.
Yeah. Well, you guys are gonna be great. I'm excited to see what happens with your new channel. Have you guys made the banner yet? And have you worked on?
No.
Okay.
No,
So
we haven't.
I'm going to show you everybody something. So I want everybody to know this. They're learning while you're learning. All right, I'm going to just go and do this. Oops. Oh, no. Cancel. I'm doing the wrong thing. So let's do this YouTube because I want to show you guys what you should do. Everybody can do this. This is actually in our 30-day challenge thing too. Share screen. We're going to do it here. Share. Okay. So we're going to just look at my channel really quick because everybody should be doing this anyways. Oh, look, there she is. All right. In your channel banners, this is what I want you girls to do is, and everybody should do this, is first of all, you're going to make a statement. You're going to make a statement about what your channel is going to get. It's like your mission statement to the audience of what they're going to get from your content. So for me, it's everybody deserves an affordable home. And it used to be real estate for everyone. I changed it because I had said in a live stream once that anybody that's a human being deserves to have an affordable home to live in. And you would have thought I spooned out baby eyeballs on stream because there was a lot of people that were really mad that I said that. They're like, everybody doesn't deserve a home. And I'm like, what? I just thought that was the grossest thing. So I'm like, you know what? If that makes those people really mad, I'm going to go ahead and make that my mission statement. Because in my opinion, everybody deserves an affordable home to live in. So I didn't know that would be so controversial. So I made it as my statement on my channel. I used my theme colors, which are always been pink. And then I have something over here. Can you girls see this? This
QR code?
Yeah. Yep. And that QR code goes to my website. And if I was smart, I would just send it straight to a landing page where they could fill out the information to speak to me. Now, some people will have it as a QR code that goes to a Calendly. I tried that first. I found that going to the website or a landing page works better. I also started using that same QR code at the end of my videos. So when the end screen elements pop up on the screen, that's the same time that QR code pops up in the corner of the screen as well. So if they've made it to the end of the video, they probably want to get a hold of you. So it's a good time to just throw that on the screen so they can scan it with their phone. Because more and more people are doing what? They're watching it on
They're watching from their TV.
That's exactly right. So it's always good to have that little QR code, easy to make with ChatGPT. So when you're doing your about section, make sure that your about section is about what the customer client is going to get from you and your content. So I made this very specific, and I had just changed it recently because I hadn't done it, but it's very specific to my audience and what they're going to get from my content. And then I made it to the links to my channel and my website. So make sure that whenever you're starting this out, this about section should be focused on the customer you want to attract.
Right. It's not about us. It's not about
you.
It's not about us.
So the first half can be just for the client. The second half can be about you. So like if you wanted to do the first two paragraphs about like what they're going to get from your content, then the last paragraph is say, look, I've been in this business for 25 years and we've sold over blah, blah, blah amount of homes. We know how frustrating the process of buying and selling homes could be. If you need to get a hold of us, and then you could put your link or telephone number or something in there so they can get a hold of you. But always put that again in the links section, put your website. Put your website. And if that link goes to a landing page, even better.
Okay. So you have your YouTube link in there, I see.
I sometimes I do this stuff and I don't know why I do it. This was probably set up. It was probably set up in 2016 and I never looked back at it.
Okay.
I need to take that off of there. Really, honestly, this should not be here. This was dumb.
Okay.
Do as I say, don't do as I do. We've all heard that. Yeah. So make sure you're setting that up, and then make sure you have a really clear image for your profile picture, and make sure that profile picture fits the whole entire screen. So that way, whenever you're commenting on other people's stuff, they can see your face and it's easy to identify. some people would like to do a personal logo in here, but people don't connect with logos. They connect with you. So use a picture of yourself.
See? Did that wrong too.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people do. So
And make
just
sure the
something,
whites of our eyes are really big.
right. Well, you can make your image big. You see how big my noggin is on that little profile thing? I try to fill it up as much as possible. You know?
Yeah.
And then if you have any compliance stuff, everybody should know this. If you have any compliance things that were required by your state, make sure you put them in the banner. Like I have to show this, like the fair housing and the realtor thing, because it was something that the state required. Make sure you put that in there. And I also have to put in all my videos descriptions the brokerage I work for and the address of it, like you would end an email.
Even if you're not advertising a piece of property, you're just giving real estate advice.
This, you got to remember, I was like one of the first ones to do this, so they didn't know what they were doing when I first started doing this, and people were flailing and causing a big stir and all this stuff. So in order to be almost over compliant, I did exactly what you would do for an email, because I could attach it to a blog, I could attach it to an email, and if that information wasn't one click available, then it could be a problem. So I went ahead and just put it in there.
Got it. That good old compliance.
Yeah. So I mean, it's no skin off my nose. If you look at like my old like if you look at the descriptions of all these videos, it's just at the bottom. I mean, people would have to scroll, you know, like I mean, it's right here.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You know, it's past all the other good stuff that's in the video.
One thing that we find really fascinating about your channel is you have so many playlists.
No.
Well, those playlists have evolved over time, right?
Yeah.
So like, I don't even know how old the playlists are. Some of them are really, really old.
Yeah, some of them are.
Yeah, like I mean, this one is like, this was from years and years and years ago.
Well, yeah,
It's interesting how your thumbnails have changed over time too.
Oh, yeah. You know, like if you ever feel bad, like, oh my gosh, everybody's thumbnails look so good, and you guys can really have it easy now because of AI. But let's look at the old. Look at these. These are tragic. So bad.
Oh my gosh.
They're so bad. Oh, I knew, and I thought I was doing something here. You know, look at that big old personal logo. I'm like, yeah,
Diana, there's hope for us.
I'm branding. You know, this is so like, I thought I was doing something. Oh, look, see, I talked about a gym in my area. You know, like I made the same mistakes as everybody. Look, this is how you clean up your pantry.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
I would still click on that.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Fraud ads.
Yeah, I was talking about some guys selling crawfish. What does that have to do with real estate? That was so dumb, but I didn't know what I was doing. I had my kids in one where they were making slime. I used to do two things. I used to do a blog. So it would be like a blog of what's going on in Ascension Parish, of like little things like restaurants and stuff. And then I did a real estate thing. So it was like a tip about real estate on Tuesday. I called it Take a Tip Tuesday. And then I had a blog that was stuff that was going on in my area of Ascension Parish. So stupid.
Well, you know what, Christina? See, that's the thing is, you know, realtors, you know, we know how to sell houses. We know how to help buyers get into houses. We know how to help investors get great deals. We don't know YouTube. And so many people, I think they think that they do. Oh my gosh. I know. I mean, we didn't even really, you don't even know what you don't know.
Yep.
Until you start this. And then you're like, why is this person getting all of this and I'm getting nothing? Because they need to have they need to take a class. They need to take Christina's and Joe's class. That's what I say. I'm just saying.
So you remember I was telling you about that coach that told me to quit doing YouTube?
Yeah.
I was filming this video right here when she told me to quit it. This was a video I distinctly remember talking to her on the phone when she told me to stop doing that.
Why?
I know. That's just funny.
She told you to coach her so that she
No.
can get YouTube
No.
by now?
Nope. Did you just start? Yeah, no, I didn't just start. We started about 40 minutes ago. What's your students' GCI with YouTube? Depends on the student. And it
Right.
depends on the ones that implement the things we tell them to do. The ones who actually do it, they're getting 30 calls after a live stream. They're getting they're killing it. They're making serious cash flow, but they're the ones that do what we tell them to do. The ones
Yeah,
that,
we watched that one student last summer that completely blew up. And that's when we're like, okay, we've got to take her course. And then we had the family thing happen. But then over time, we just kept watching her grow and grow and grow and grow. And it was like, oh my God, we need to get back in and do this. Because I know, this is where people get information, right? And
Right.
once you do exactly what you said that we need to do is
I
we
can
need
move
to be
over.
honest. They need to trust us. They need to get to know who we are.
Yep. And all these coaches are like, my GCI, blah, 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 blah. That's not my story to tell. I'm not telling anybody what my students make as far as money's concerned, but they stay around for a reason because they're making good checks. So,
Right.
I've never talked about my money. Never, not ever, not once. Because honestly, the proof is in the pudding,
Right.
So here's another
You
thing. Though. We even doing everything wrong, we still had a closing from YouTube.
We still got a client from it.
Yes, that's the whole reason I stuck with it. So
with
back
60 views.
in my day, when I started making those videos about my area and everything, this guy called me from Utah. He was in Utah and he was like, hey, we're moving to that area. I found you on YouTube. And I figured anybody that makes videos about that little tiny town week after week, you could be the one to help us find a house. And I'm like, yeah, I can. And he bought, at that time, was the most expensive home that I had ever sold to somebody.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I'm quitting everything. That's the whole reason I stuck with it. Because it was only like my third or fourth video that I ever put out on there. I was doing Facebook first. Because Facebook got me a lot of traction. I loved it.
Facebook Live.
No, I was doing Facebook. I was doing stupid skit videos on Facebook of
okay.
listings. I would do these ridiculous listing videos where I acted out the characters, where the little girl's in the backseat of the car picking her nose, wiping it on the real estate agent, and they're walking through the house. But the house was actually for sale. So I'm like, I played the characters and then I would sell the house, with a whole skit. It worked.
Oh, wow.
It worked. But then all of a sudden, Facebook business pages ended up being pay to play. And I'm like, I'm not paying people to watch my videos. I thought that was the dumbest thing in the world. And then I was like, people get paid on YouTube. Why don't I just start putting my goofy listing videos, my silly listing videos on YouTube? I bet you they would get better traction there. Maybe I can make a couple bucks off of it. And that's when I ended up like you guys, starting and listening to other people. I'm like, oh, this could be so much bigger. I had no idea. And I was like, I'm going to make it work on YouTube. I'm going to make it work. Same thing.
Yeah.
The same exact thing. But
So
there is the opportunities. I can't, and I hope you girls do this. In the summer, there's going to be Vid Summit. And that's the conference that's held by Daryl Eves.
the one in Texas?
The one in Texas.
Isn't that in October?
Yes, it's in October. That's right. It's in October. It's just so hot. I think in my brain, it's the summertime. It's like
Talked about
sweltering.
it, but I'm like, I feel like by October, I don't know. I don't feel ready. I feel like we haven't even absorbed and implemented the info we have.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you what. You'll learn so much. You will learn so much. I mean, it makes me not one dime for you guys to go, but every student that we've brought to that, when they got done, they were like, my brain is on fire. There's so much I can do. I didn't realize my business can be, because it's a business conference that shows you how to make your videos even collect even more commissions, videos you've already had in your pipeline that can bring even more business, how to use certain tools that will simplify your business, like all these things that can bring you even more money. I love Vid Summit. It's always eye-opening. The first time I went to it, because I went to real estate conferences, I went to 2 a year. That was my whole thing, to real estate conferences. And I would get a lot of really great information. But when I went to Vid Summit for the first time, I'm like, I'm never going to another real estate conference ever again, because to me, they were 5 years, I mean, even 10 years behind the ball. I'm like,
Yeah.
forget it. I'm going to Vid Summit every single year. And it was funny because no real estate agents were there at that time. And now I see lots of real estate agents there because they're like, they get the power of it, you know. I can't endorse it enough, honestly.
You know Roger the plumber? on
Yeah, Roger
YouTube?
Wakefield. Yeah, he's a friend
Roger
of mine.
Wakefield. Okay,
Right.
so I
He's
went
a
to a real
friend of
estate
yours?
conference in Texas
Mhm.
a year and a half ago in October, and he came and he spoke. And he
Yes.
spoke to the whole group of us for like an hour. And it was like, that was right before Di and I, that was like 6 months before she and I kind of got our thing going. But when I heard him, I was like, oh my God, I really want to do this. It was just, I had no idea where to start. I didn't want to do it by myself because I'm a team player. And it's just like amazing. So we need to seriously talk about that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he was Roger Wakefield, the expert plumber. I don't think his channel, I think it's just Roger Wakefield now, but that's how things change over time. Like I used to be Your Real Estate Whisperer. That used to be my channel. And then I realized how incredibly stupid that was because people can't spell whisperer. It's 2 ERs at the end. I didn't realize that. And then Roger Wakefield was the expert plumber. His branding has always been on point. He has the best logo, but that was like too long. And it was, when they started being able to, where you could tag the handle, it would be much easier just for him to shorten it down. So I think he's just Roger Wakefield now. And he's all over the place now. But when he started, he was no bigger than me. I think he had maybe 20,000, maybe 10,000 subscribers. And he took Channel Jumpstart with me with Daryl at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And that's what your program, the program that Joe Eves and I do together, is Channel Jumpstart, but it's tailored for real estate agents. It's just we say it's the Diet Coke version of Channel Jumpstart. We simplify it so that way when you're ready, because everybody outgrows this at some point. You get to a point that you'll plateau, you'll outgrow our advice, and then you'll need something bigger, and that's when you go to Channel Jumpstart.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I think it's funny. You say whisper, people can't spell. You know what? There's two of us who can't spell tariffs.
Oh, did you spell it 2 R's?
I did 2 R's. She's doing TE, and yet we both know how to spell it, but it doesn't look right when you're trying to make a thumbnail or it doesn't look right. Anyway,
I always think that it's in my head, in my brain, it should be TARRIF. One
Correct.
F.
Right.
In my brain, that's what I see. But according to Webster's, it's one R
we
and
do
2
that
F's.
yesterday. Oh my God.
But I
It was
do think it's
ridiculous.
important not to use words that people can't spell.
Well,
We were going to do tariff turmoil, and I'm like, this is horrible.
Well, the word turmoil is too big. So I talked to another friend of mine who does political content, and she's like, well, I'm having a hard time. I'm like, you're using words and vocabulary that is over most people's heads. And that's what happens with titles and thumbnails too, is you're using words that people, you got to remember, most people cannot get or understand or comprehend past a 5th grade level.
Right.
It used to be an 8th grade level, and we've gotten dumber over the years. So
Yeah.
now you have to bring that down. So sometimes I'll think of a word when it comes to a thumbnail, and I'm like, or even on a title, and I'm like, I actually will say, what grade level is this word? And if it says 8th grade, I'm not using it.
Really? I'm writing that down. That makes sense.
Yeah. Good little tip. Good little tip. Yep. If anybody has any questions, we got a few people watching in the chat. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put them in the chat as well. You can ask any of us ladies here, because they're filling in for Joe. Joe's not feeling well. I don't know if I got him sick because I was sick last week. I showed up, but I got sick last week. This week he's out. He's laying down. He can't even, he's like, I can't do it. And I'm like, it's fine, totally fine. So we got lucky. We got you ladies to come in and fill in for Joe. I appreciate you ladies for doing this. I can't wait for you to see your new hooks. There was a new video that came out today, Think Media. And you know how like I really emphasize hooks, because once you have a good title, once you have a good thumbnail, right after that is the hook. And this lady was saying, because long form is a little bit different than it is for short form, but she's like, in short form, she's like, you have 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds. And at 6 seconds, you better have at least 90% retention. And apparently she can do it. She's really good at that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to master that. So,
but it's true. I mean, when I look at the information, on our reels and stuff like that we post, I mean, the drop off most of the time is at like 4 seconds. And then if we've got one that's at 7, it's like, woohoo!
Yeah. So like,
we're not even talking in those.
So a little hint, because there's 3 of you guys watching. The ones that actually stayed for this are going to be a win. So here's the thing. If you start off saying 96% of Americans think they're going to lose their house, that gets people's attention. That number, and then like, or something else is like, the American dream is dead. Like you start off with that that's already 2 seconds right there. You already got them, Yep.
Yeah.
Look at this right here. It says, I brought my girlfriend along for a home tour and it had a solid watch time. Do you think it's best to always shoot tours moving forward with her or somebody else? Probably like 2 people discussing. You follow the audience, right, ladies?
Right.
And if your audience has reacted in a positive way to a new character to your channel, which is your girlfriend, obviously she's the eye candy that keeps the ball rolling. So I would just continue with her. She's your new host, your little co-host. I would do that. I would, and if you want to test some other people, go ahead and test some other people, because who knows, maybe the girlfriend might break up with you tomorrow.
Yeah. That's so nice of you.
You don't know. Hey, you didn't put a ring on it. She can lock anytime.
So going back to his question, I'm wondering, was he actually in the tour himself, or was he just showing the house? Because, we've had some people say to us, it's so much better if you are in and out.
Yeah.
If there's a person in and out.
So there's some channels, some real estate channels that I've seen, even investing channels, where the cameraman is off the screen, but they're still part of the channel, but you don't really see their face. They're still a character because you hear their voice, but they're not necessarily front and center of the camera. And they'll ask questions to interact with the person that is the main focus of the channel. And that works. And you can continue to do that. If you're going to build a channel, knowing that at some point you're going to hand this off to somebody else, I would start introducing that person into your channel with, at least a year before you decide to step away, but make it gradual. So that way your audience gets used to that new face. But to have random people on there all the time that's not consistently there, they're just pass-throughs. No one's connecting with those people. Because you don't remember, it's like
people that I watch all the time. I have like 3 people, like nothing to do with real estate, that I watch all the time, and they bring guests in and I love it, but I am going there for them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he said, they were both in it.
Yeah, so they were both in the video, but discuss the home with me and her. She was like what we liked. She liked what we liked. And in my other tours, I'm on camera and upload the B-roll. Yeah, I'd say like, so real estate videos, no matter what videos you're doing, anything you're doing on YouTube, believe it or not, it's very similar to television. And whenever you add a character to your new program, it's always, especially if the audience reacts in a positive way, that's a good signal to continue using that character over and over again in the same aspect that you were used to originally. Like if you were doing this now like this, and then you all of a sudden put her in a talking head video, that would look very weird and very off for your audience. But if you brought her in and the audience responded, yeah, do it again. Do it again and again and again and again and again until it doesn't work anymore. Yeah, like some people will even bring something like a puppy, right? So they get a new puppy. So every video, they'll have like one little clip that's maybe 10 seconds long of the puppy as it's growing up, right?
Oh,
And that's a new character. That's a new character. So, well, ladies, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We don't have any channel reviews today. I just want to say thank you. I'm really excited to see what your YouTube journey is going to be. And I think that next year at this time, I should interview you girls again to see the progress that you've made on your channel. So that's your new, you should put that on your vision board. So that way that next year at this time, when we do this video again, this live stream, we could talk about all the things that you learned. We could talk about the commissions that you made, because people were always like, "When is this GCI?" That's the other thing I hate about real estate conferences. They're like, "How many units did you sell last year?" I'm like, "Dude, I have a name. Did you see the name?" So stupid. Anyway,
I just want to say that I sold 36 houses one year, and my somebody else in my office sold 3, and she made more than me. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the affordable housing space. Seriously. I'm not the luxury housing space, so I get it. No,
I'm not either. But I'm just saying, I don't think the number of houses that you sold, if you put us side by side, I definitely had more knowledge as an agent.
Right.
The number of houses you sell doesn't mean.
Affordable listings and working with affordability is much tougher than selling the traditional, little house in a neighborhood with an HOA.
Right.
It's 10 times more challenging. 10 times more challenging. But I want to say thank you. I'm really excited for you girls. And I know that you guys are going to do really good. I want next year at this time for you to be like, I didn't know that we could make it this big. I can't wait to have your story evolve, because it's going to be awesome, especially since you girls are so dedicated. Since you're so dedicated. So, all right, everybody, be good.
All right, thanks, Christina.
No problem. Hey, you gotta stick around for this really cool outro. Don't ever do this in their videos. Don't ever.
It's the end of the stream. Christina and Joe taught you all the tricks, make your leads grow. From thumbnails to tags, you gotta be bold. YouTube's the key, turn your listings to gold. Eat at those fits, make them snappy, make them fly. Engage with your audience, connect, don't be shy. Realtor to the core, but tech on your side. Hit that algorithm like a digital tide. This is the final click, now you're in the know. Use YouTube to flourish, let them listings blow. It's the small details that bring in the dough. From Christina and Joe, here's the way to go. Every upload strategic, so your views ain't stopping. Consistency's key, schedule that drop. Content's king, crown it at the top. So you learn the ropes from 2 of the best. Christina and Joe, put your skills to the test. Turn those leads into clients, make your channel explode. Realtor success on the digital road. This is the final click, now you're in the